Aloha, beautiful souls, sensitives, empaths, way showers, light workers, all who tune in today to listen. I'm coming to you with the next moon phase cycle that I want to highlight, which is the full moon in Cancer lunar eclipse coming up on January 10th at 2:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is falling at 20 degrees. So very symbolic of finding our strength in our love, in our intuition, that feminine energy, that receptive energy. And let's highlight. I have a new book that I'll be sharing this year throughout the whole year. It's got wonderful information about astrology in it. I am Deanna with Divine Destiny. Thank you so much for being here. My whole purpose is to inspire, encourage, uplift all sensitive beings to step into their true authenticity in their heart spaces, trusting their intuition, their own compass. I am not an astrologer, but I love astrology. I'm learning, so come join with me. And the moon phases are super important for all of us. This is our internal emotions. This is our internal feelings that we reflect upon. This lunar eclipse, full moon in Cancer, cardinal sign, initiation with it being cardinal, right, is opposing Mercury, Pluto, and Saturn on this day. So really find your strength, increase your self-care as we're building up to this beautiful, powerful eclipse. We had the solar eclipse in Capricorn, now we're having the lunar. We had the masculine, now we're having the feminine. Earth, water. Nurturing, embodying, stepping forward in 2020, going beyond. This lunar eclipse is a clearing and letting go, culmination of our emotional baggage that we may have been carrying for about the last 6 months or so. So keep that in mind going forward with this lunar eclipse. Powerful, beautiful times. And go on this journey with me. So it's the third quarter moon, which is a full moon. And this is a culmination and a maturity and a growth that is available for all of us right now. I am going to share some of the things. Cancer is a cardinal water sign. So it is good at beginning things. It's also the most privacy-oriented sign. Cancer types are emotional, vulnerable, sensitive, and if out of balance without healthy boundaries, become easily hurt. They need a safe nest to return to when the world gets to be too much. This is why it's important to gain your balance within you, clear your chakras, really allow yourself to not walk by just sight, but gaining your spiritual muscles. Out of balance, they can become needy, dependent, or unable to function unless they feel someone or something needs them. Cancer rules the home and family. It's also in charge of our emotions, so expect Cancer to operate from this intuition, your gut speaking to you, right? And so in harmony, you'll listen to your intuition. Everybody has this water element within them. Where it hits on your chart is very significant. If you don't have your birth natal chart, I highly encourage that you guys do. So the moon is speaking always, and it's a good place for her to begin to understand the qualities of water. On a clear night when the moon is full, whether you're looking up or at her, the silvery patch she creates that shivers and dances on the water. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to be still. She represents the soft interior of each of us that recalls memories, fears, and dreams. So this is why it's important with the opposition to Mercury, mind, communication, Pluto, the ruler of the dark, hidden, right, subconscious that's within us and the collective, and it's an opposition also with Saturn. 20 degrees the sun will be in Capricorn. That's very masculine. And the eclipse is exactly the opposite, lunar, 20 degrees in Cancer. So the emotions, body emotions, male, not male, sorry, sacred masculine, sacred feminine. I did a little bit of digging online, which I find very, very beautiful because, as I already knew, 2020, right? We're going through with 2020 vision, is what I want to call it, of trusting that intuition, realizing there's a polarity on the earth plane, right? North Pole, South Pole, masculine, feminine, all these dualities, but gaining our clear vision, 2020 vision, which is perfect, right? Of knowing that we're all a whole, and as above, so below. And so I just thought it really interesting. I wanted to share this with this powerful time and this eclipse, this lunar eclipse, full moon in Cancer is, so throughout history, for the Mayas, it represented the solar god, which I find really interesting. The fundamental differentiation, which creates in the world two relativity different poles. So like I said, the North Pole, South Pole, two can represent duality, but at 2020 and all these planets supporting us at 20 is wanting us to let go of the duality, and with the zeros remembering our oneness. So I think that's super beautiful. I found it very interesting. All different cultures, all different, throughout history, the importance of numerology as well. So it's even through the biblical, there was lots of mention of, Jacob spent 20 years before he escaped from Laban. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. God asked Moses to make the census of all community in the Israelites to be 20 years old or more. I mean, it's so symbolic. I know the Bible's been manipulated by man, but if you just look out throughout history, the Mayans, the number 20 is considered to be ominous for Saint Jerome because it indicates the universal fight, the polarity, but it also represents the source of all energy in this world. So basically what it's saying is when we incarnate, our souls choose to come to this earth plane, we're going to experience the duality. It's asking us with this eclipse to let all of that go, gain our clarity through our 2020 vision. And because Cancer is so representative of the Divine Mother to me, the feminine, the intuition, and then having all of these opposing things of rebuilding our structure going forward. So these eclipse seasons are so significant because we are letting go of all of the old ways. I know for me personally, it's hitting in my chart in my 8th house, but I have Saturn in Cancer, and it was very karmic for me. So I'm releasing the emotional bondage, codependency with the mother, right, so to speak, and I'm ending a cycle with these eclipses. So I feel it already as we're building up to it. We've been in the eclipse energy since the Capricorn eclipse on whatever date. My logical mind, I'm stepping more into, personally for me, and I share this with you guys to keep trusting that intuition. Our north node, which is the node of the moon, is in Cancer as well. And so that's the direction we want to head, of restructuring our home, right, within us, but not just our home physically, but our home within us, really gaining clarity through that feminine receptive intuition and trusting that more than ever. It's a huge, beautiful thing to keep in mind. I don't want to leave anything out with this because it's such powerful times right now. The lunar qualities of emotions and instincts reach their peak at the lunar eclipses. So use your increased emotional strength and your intuition to overcome any challenges. Subconscious awareness allows our impartial and balanced look at the personal relationships. So this is even your relationship with yourself. You will clearly see any relationship dynamics or negative feelings causing disharmony within you. A lunar eclipse represents resetting your emotions, clearing away the emotional baggage of the previous 6 months. So I know a lot of us in 2019 purged out a lot of this. Saturn, Pluto in Capricorn. What else? Let me pull up the chart here. Chiron in Aries, which is wounded healers rising. I'm looking at the chart right now. So also Jupiter, where is it at on this? I got the chart up for the 10th. So hold on one second. There's a stellium on this day too, you guys, which is 3 or more planets in the same sign, which is obviously Capricorn. There is so many twos. So pay attention to this. Like it said in this ancient mythology of numerology, which is super important, never changes. Man, we have so many. I'm going to pull these up and read them to you because I didn't realize the significance of it. Saturn's at 22 degrees of Capricorn. Pluto, conjunct 22 degrees Capricorn. Mercury, 20 degrees Capricorn. Sun, 20 degrees of Capricorn. So Saturn, symbolically, the ruler of time, the great teacher, the great counsel. If you've been doing your work, Saturn's very rewarding. If you haven't been, get ready to be shocked and locked because Pluto's right there, conjunct with Saturn. The dark, deep things that if you've been turning and running from the truth of who you are, you know, dark, deep things are going to be coming up. Mercury, thinking, communication, the sun, your soul. So there's so many oppositions at the same time. I just realized this when I pulled the chart up. And 20 degrees, the moon in Cancer, 22 degrees Capricorn. So we're going to have probably, I'm going to say, bring your awareness and set your intentions now that you will not be hook, line, sinker into these past things of embodying structures that need to fall away. Don't cling to who you were yesterday. Saturn, 22 degrees Capricorn, Mercury, and the sun. So those are multiple planets that are all going to be in opposition on the same day. So that's why it's important to anchor into your heart space. Trust your intuition more than ever. So beautiful. Where's Jupiter at here? Jupiter, expansion, 50, is it? Oh, 8 degrees of Capricorn on that day. So January 10th. You know, I'm going to say really just bring your awareness to it now. It may feel deep and very emotional on this day, depending on where you're at. I'm sure that it'll affect people differently depending on where it hits in your chart specifically. Like for me, very optimistic about it because I've been doing a lot of healthy boundaries over the past 5 years when my spiritual awakening first took place. And my openness and my receptivity of learning and purging and to stop being defined by what other people think I should be and really instilling healthy boundaries. This is an emotional eclipse for me personally, with Saturn in Cancer, because that indicates that I'm finishing a cycle of karmic mother wounds. So I feel it. I'm more in my authenticity than I ever have been, and I'm super thankful. Look in your chart where this lunar eclipse hits in your chart and what kind of aspects are there. If you're new to astrology, just start digging in. It really does matter. But for the collective, since we all do have water element, which represents our emotions, and that we have the heart space, that's our soul, and that should be our first language, to trust your intuition more than ever. from now, you know. I'm coming to you on January 1st, but 2020 vision, gaining clarity through your intuition, and because of all these opposing planets in Capricorn, dismantling and dismantling old structures that didn't work for the collective, right? 0, 0. It's also a year 4. So rebuilding your fundamental home within you and around you, surrounding you. And it's really a time to gaining clarity through that intuition and going where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And so revamping family structure is across the board collectively for everybody. So anything else I want to share here? I thought that was really cool. You know, just look up the symbolism of 20 if you want to research more into it. It's super symbolic. And what else? Realize that with this opposition, you know, there could be tension with all the dismantling things in Capricorn. So I would say for all people across the board, internalize awareness, set your intentions that you will not get hook, line, and sinker into backward thinking. Apparently so for 6 months of all the baggage and emotional wounds. So rise into that. Super powerful times. We are going to do a Moonology Oracle for this lunar eclipse in Cancer. Dear Spirit, God, Creator, Source, all beings of white light, angels and ancestors, I am here, I am ready, and I am open to receive clear messages for anybody who comes in and listens today. And I thank you in advance. So it's really symbolic as well that this eclipse is kind of helping us put a reset button on our emotions. That's available for all of us. So just keep that in mind. I feel it's going to be a huge release. Keep being guided by your heart and your intuition. It won't steer you wrong. That's your soul speaking to you. Anchor into your heart space. Feel secure and rooted in who you are. And that'll help you surrender and transition into these new energies. Hold your vision. Fixed moon. Set your intentions going forward of what matters to you. Love, compassion, trusting your intuition. And when I see the fixed moon, I feel like being sure of who you are. And that doesn't mean like judgmental. That means being sure of who you are as a spiritual being, right? With them twos all over the board, the intuition, the duality that we do experience because we're in the earth plane. With the zeros, to me, anchoring in that into our vessels because we're truly spiritual beings. We're not the body. And trusting the larger picture. Hold your vision. Shoot yourself higher. Lots of purple here. So trusting your crown chakra, third eye visions, right? The bigger perspectives. Walk by faith, not by sight. That's beautiful. Let's have another one from this receptive, watery intuition. Restructuring our home within our body, within our units, becoming back into what really matters, which is tribal. A lot of us are ending cycles with that we keep being born into and incarnate with other people playing the part. So have faith in your dreams. Shoot for the bigger picture, whatever it is that really speaks to you through your intuition. You know, journal, write down what what you feel is in your authenticity, write it down, you know. A lot of people are suggesting to, and you can still do this even though it's the first, because we're still in the energy of this new era, right? New decade. Write down all of the lessons and blessings of 2019 and in the past. See where you have grown, and then set your sights going forward. Hold that vision going forward and write a, 2020 and beyond vision for yourself. I need to journal more, and I haven't started. I have notes all over my house that I write notes to myself, whether it come through dream state or inspiration. So have faith in your dreams. Very Neptunian to me, very Jupiter expansive. If you feel any blocks within yourself, clear them. We have the ability to do that right within ourselves. Realizing that this eclipse, this lunar eclipse in Cancer, and the one we just had, the solar one in Capricorn, is a huge time to release the things that were not serving for your higher good, because we all benefit, including yourself, when you step into that and trust your own intuition. You'll know there's duality here with the twos, right? Of the world or of the collective. Is this of love or is this of fear? So one more from the Chakra Oracle. And then I actually think we're going to do a Cryon. Cryon is an energetic master that's helping all of humanity with the ascension, going from 3D to 5D, which is separation, duality, into oneness consciousness and the light beings that we truly are. So, can I gain some more clarification with the whole division and have faith in your dreams? From the Chakra Oracle. Allow this message to resonate with all those that come in today, and we know that if it doesn't make sense at this time, we'll just tuck it safely away in our heart space, and that it will make sense. So here we go. Grief. Okay. Heart chakra. Keep this in your awareness for this lunar eclipse in Cancer. Why do I keep trying to mingle Capricorn and Cancer together? I have no idea, but so we could be grieving yesterdays. We could be grieving a person. We could be grieving feeling internally, not quite being able to put our finger on a collective energy of our souls know that old things and old ways have to die in order to restructure and go back to our roots of what really matters, which is love and compassion. So allow the grief to transform you. I know that's huge. And heart healing is always the most important. And why is that? Because that is where our soul is. That's where our intuition is. That's where our nurturing is. And when we get dogged down by grief, which I definitely know what this feels like in many different ways, we grieve symbolically in so many ways, even old relationships. Allow it, release it, and then use grief. Grief is one of the most transformational things if you're open to it and you don't get stuck in it. And personally for me, I grieve daily. I'm a bereaved mother, but through my oneness consciousness, through God, Creator, Source, through my Son in Spirit, I have been open and receptive to expansion. I just utilized this in my last YouTube about the transformation that happens. When we're broken down is when the light can enter. And we don't have to go through this, Many people, specifically in religions, think we have to be long-suffering in order to gain the mercy and the love and the compassion from God, Creator, Source, and that is so not true. But because we're in an earth plane that has duality, many of us do experience grief in many ways, and it is a very powerful energy. It can transform you if you're open and receptive to it. I cry every day, but then I rise and I hold the vision that I know the bigger picture. And I have faith 100% that there is a larger picture to everything that we go through. So release grief. Keep that in mind for this lunar eclipse in Cancer, because it's very an emotional sign anyway. So keep rising in that. I send this to you with so much love, and this is our lunar eclipse in Cancer for January 10th at 20 degrees. Keep rising, beautiful souls, and I send this to you with so much love. Namaste.